Good morning. It's April 19th. Um, and I'm going to kick this off with a note on triggering because I know I've said some things and I know that they will be triggering. And like I've said in the past, I'm going to trigger people. That's part of my purpose here. And I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but we've got to make some real changes and we got to make them real fast. But if I've triggered you in any way, I would strongly suggest you go back and go, hey, why the heck am I triggered? We're not talking about small problems here. When I say the bipolarization of society, it's basically the culling of the divine feminine or the emotional side of your brain, which is basically the same thing. Again, I'm going to open this chart. This is what we're looking at. And it may seem like a small thing. It's not. It's huge. And unfortunately, without the feminine in the environment, really bad things happen. Oh, look around. This not only happens through domestic abuse or domestic violence, this also happens through bullying, through manipulation, through gaslighting, through families cutting off pieces of their families and cutting them out of wills. It is all the same story. It's all the same type of people. Now, if you've met me, like most of the people that meet me will tell you, yeah, she's a little bit different. Well, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be different. The problem is that there's none of me left. Most of the people that were like me now have to heavily mask to fit into today's society because it's not built for us. And honestly, the loneliness I've felt in my life because of this is just immense. Like I didn't really fit into my family and I don't really fit into most social groups. And most of the time, I feel like I don't even fit into society. And that's because, as I said, there's none of us left. Now, my level of intuition, like, and maybe this is my special skill, is I can usually call out who's on which side just by looking at them. Um, and I keep getting these posts about suicides, and I watch them, and it's like every single one is polarized on the emotional side. It kills me. Oh, those kids. People don't realize that quantifying abuse, like controlling domestic violence through the court system, will also have a very significant, and I would almost say totally comprehensive impact on bullying. Kids learn how to bully at home. And I will fight. I will fight every day for the rest of my life to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. I'm fighting for you kids. Now, I understand that my holistic approach to this, like talking about everything in one place, makes people uncomfortable because we're used to separate things off for your comfort. I won't do that anymore. This is one story. From my parents' will to the domestic abuse to me being shoved into bankruptcy. All of that is part of the same torture package. And I refuse to separate it for your comfort. But I'll mention this again. I'm going to come at this like kind of like a global mom. Like I'm going to give you some hard messages and they may smack you upside the head, but understand I'm doing it for you. Right. And you'll understand if you meet me in person and I don't carry that malice with me. I'm smacking you with these nondescript messages online because I won't conflict in person. I just won't. And I understand that not everybody's going to take my advice. All I can do is lead you to the water. I'm not going to force you to drink. And if you choose to, continue whatever malicious practices that you have been doing, like that's up to you. But I will warn you that relaying malice, like you holding malice for somebody else, it has more of a detrimental impact on you than you think. Now, we've been living in backwards land, and I get some of the rhetoric a lot. And a lot of people are like, oh, be careful what you say. There may be toxic people in the environment, that may try and manipulate you. You just want to be careful what you do in this environment, which is basically saying, like, I have to change my behavior to accommodate for shitty people. And to that, I'm just going to say no. Nope, fuck that shit. I don't want to live in an environment wherein there's so many toxic people that I, as a good human being, have to maladapt my behavior to accommodate for them. That's wrong. It should be the other way around. They should be changing their malicious behavior to fit into society. And I think that that's the end goal, is to live in a place where there's so many genuine people. Like, there's so many people that when a manipulating person comes into the environment and tries to start manipulating, we're like, huh, that's weird. Why would you do that? And awful. Stop that now. And then we try and help them. Not an environment where people are like, ha ha ha, that's dishy. Give me more gossip juice. So, update on the label, because there's been a ton of work done, and I know that you've seen some of the advertising come down the pipe. It's been a sort of a slow launch, and honestly, managing all the platforms is a lot more work than I thought it would be. We are getting a very steep increase in traffic, but no sales yet. So, fingers crossed on that, especially because still in financial peril, basically. Now, I've been forced into bankruptcy, so it's like I've been here. So, understand this feels like home to me. So previously, I was just uploading all of the content into all of the platforms, which was really time consuming. So I've made some substantial edits to the label page on my website, so you can go and check it out there. But understand, I've simplified that page, and we will be building up a lot of that advertising in Shopify. So if you want to check out the Shopify, I put the link in the comments. There's also a 15% off coupon until the end of the month. So if you want that, use the code REVOLUTION at checkout, all in caps. Update on the investor hunt. So I did have to make some additional changes to the financial overview for the project. So that has been uploaded on the website. You can go and check it out. And I will say that that was a learning curve. Like, I've worked quite a bit with budgets in Excel, but venture capital is a whole bunch of new acronyms that I didn't know anything about. And while there was parts of it that were a little bit challenging, I really appreciated the learning that I got from the amount of Googling I had to do to fill that out. You can check that out under structure and investment here. So last point, an accountability checkpoint. And again, it's this law firm that lied about my father's will, and it's these 3 employees that are connected to the case within that organization. And I will provide another update, because I'm not hiding anything for anybody ever again. I was invited to come and have a discussion with a family member in which some questions were answered. I asked if I got the will, and that was a hard no. But there was a caveat to this conversation: it had to be recorded. Now, there's where I asked some questions, because there is no pathway where the recording is not nefarious that I can find in my head. Why would they want it recorded? They want to catch me in a lie. Do they want to catch me in a lie so they can use it against me in some way, shape, or form? That's basically where all my spidey tingles are going. But that's a spidey tingle thing. That's not something I know. But what is factual is I was invited to have a recorded conversation with a family member. Now, I have declined this because I do believe it is nefarious, and I'm still expecting to see his will, and that's a hard line for me. So, TikTok.